Happy Monday, everybody. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing good.
We survived the weekend that was March Madness.
Yeah, got over. The last thing I had was 3-1 C's to get to the Final Four, so I wasn't overly happy with the Duke collapse, but everything else was good.
Nice. Kaz, how was your weekend? He's probably busy setting the streams live.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, obviously, I mean, I feel like that's what everybody's talking about right now, being the game was yesterday as well. My brackets were already pretty much done, so I wasn't too bummed out, but yeah, super exciting game. Maybe that's kind of where we can start. So the last four teams we've got here, we've got UConn versus Illinois, Arizona versus Michigan. Arizona, Michigan, I think probably pretty expected. UConn and Illinois being the side that's a bit of a surprise. UConn was UConn a 2 or 3 seed?
2.
And then Illinois was a bit longer, right?
3.
3. All right. Admittedly, I haven't looked much into these games, but interested in kind of your early. I mean, I guess you're just in general, like the Elite Eight games. How do we feel about those? And then kind of how we got to where we're at. And then if you want to jump into, I guess we can start with the UConn Illinois game. 2.5 point spread. UConn here is the dog, and that's coming in. So UConn plus 110. The over under on that game is coming in at 139.5.
Yeah, I can talk through it. We spoke before about the Illinois-Houston winner getting to the Final Four, so kind of like this Illinois team. They've been playing well. It took them a little bit to get going against a pretty physical Iowa team. I'm not so sure it'll be as difficult for them offensively in terms of scoring on their first go. They got a ton of offensive rebounds versus Iowa that they probably won't get here, but again, I think it'll be a little bit easier for them to score. UConn doesn't match up as well physically as Iowa does. Iowa defensively have big bodies everywhere that can move with you. UConn have some bigger bodies. Reed is a big fella, but Reed's going to have to move around the floor a little bit. He can't really just sit and hang with like he did with Ngongba last game. So he'll have to move around a little bit, and that might open up some lanes for Illinois. As for UConn, again, they come all the way back. Really good game plan again from Hurley. Hurley is the best coach by some distance, and the only thing I think that keeps this game close is that he is that much better than the Illinois coach. Like, this is a pretty aggressive coaching mismatch, but in terms of player to player, size, talent, I think a lot of that leans Illinois' way. And they played early, and UConn won that game pretty comfortably, but these are two completely different teams. Wagler played like 14 minutes in that game, and that dude who hit the game-winning shot for UConn the other day, the freshman who's worked his way into the starting lineup, only played like 10. Like, completely different game we're going to get here. But again, like Duke got into some foul trouble late in that second game, or in the second half there, that helped UConn get back into it. Illinois are the best team in the country at preventing fouls or fouling on defense. I think a lot of it just leans Illinois' way. There's some 1.5s and 2s. I think this closes closer to 3. I think there was some early UConn money quick after the game, but I think as the week goes on, it kind of closes toward 3-ish, -3, -120-ish, Illinois' way.
And then Kaz, your thoughts on just that Duke UConn game, and then this UConn game coming up.
Yeah, me and Kurt were talking about the Duke UConn game before we went live. It was just kind of like laughing. There's a video somewhere of somebody of Shire discussing with his team, like, if it's the end of the game and you have the ball and there's only 4 or 5 seconds left, just throw it as high as you can straight up in the air and just let the game clock run out. Obviously, they didn't listen to that, and they took an L on a bad turnover. It's just crazy to me. I mean, I was just sitting there being like, hold on to the ball. Like, you don't have to do anything with it. Just inbound it, hold on to it. Somebody's going to foul you. But obviously they didn't do that. The rest is history. I mean, you got to give the kid credit. He made a shot from practically half court. It was awesome. That's what March is about. Just another Duke choke job too. It's like the second year in a row I feel like they've choked one away. And UConn, I think Duke, and this is actually, I'm going to say this for Duke. I think Duke unfairly, yes, they were the number one overall seed, but they kind of had a tough run to get in. Like St. John's as a 5 seed was crazy looking at this now. And UConn looked great. They never gave up. As far as the next round, I agree with Kurt. I think this game's going to be way different from the first time they played because we got some guys that are playing more minutes. And one of the guys playing more minutes for Illinois is probably a top 10 NBA draft pick, top 15, just a lottery pick. So, I mean, I expect this game to be a lot closer. I like Illinois to edge them out. I just think Illinois is red hot right now. Sometimes you look at a team and you just go, yeah, these guys got it. Like they are cooking. And that Illinois team looks really good right now. So that's how I'm going to feel for now. We'll see how the rest of the week and, all the experts will all weigh in and say this, that, and the other thing. But I'm leaning Illinois for right now.
One thing on Shire and Duke also, that like UConn, we spoke about the coaching, are so well coached and they never like fade, and Hurley always has something drawn up to kind of get them back. It's something Duke are like particularly bad at. They've had 3 losses this year, 1 loss last year to end it with Houston. They led by 14 against Houston with 8 minutes to go, lost that game. Led by 17 against Tech, led by 13 against UNC, led by 19 against UConn. And those are their last 4 losses. And they just continue to give those away. And Hurley is just too good of a coach to kind of let that stuff happen.
All right. Sounds like we do think the line's correct. Might even get further in the other way, or further in Illinois' favor here. Awesome weekend. I had fun watching the games. I'm not super, involved with college basketball when it comes to betting, but as always, March provided pretty exciting. Cool. Let's head over to. Sorry, I've not gotten my organization of tabs well yet while doing these. This Michigan Arizona game. So 2-1 seeds. Michigan right now favored by 1.5. Spread on this is significantly higher than the other game. 157.5. Kaz, maybe you can start here.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan's been one of the best teams all year. But I'm going to fade them. I'm going with Arizona. They're passing my eye test. Now, maybe they had an easier road in, but they have just been stomping everyone. What I really like about Arizona is they can match up pretty well. That Michigan team is big, but Arizona plays like 10 guys. They do have a couple big boys down low. Koa Pete had an unbelievably good last game as a freshman. I mean, by the end of the season, those guys that are like supposed to be the big guy freshmen, you're not really a freshman when it's, you're getting to the Final Four. He's played as many minutes as he has this season. I like Arizona a lot. I don't think Michigan's gonna shoot enough threes and make enough threes to like pull away where Arizona will have to shoot themselves back in it. I know that they went down the other night and it was kind of like, oh, is Arizona like are the threes going to kill them? And it didn't really. They just locked down on defense and got themselves back in the game. They can play transition. They love to go to the basket. Yeah, I like Arizona for the upset. Burn the whole thing down after all my picks.
Nice. So a slight dog here. Volume. What are you thinking?
We can go against each other here. I kind of like Michigan. I think they're two super similar teams. They like to play in the paint. Michigan's like one in the country defending the rim. Arizona they're one on defending the rim. They're one at attacking the rim. Arizona are like two in those departments. They're gonna play inside. They want to play inside. My issue is that like offensively, that ceiling I think comes Michigan's direction. They're more willing to take threes, and again, they're pretty streaky. And I agree that the game probably doesn't get to a point where Arizona have to work their way back into it down 10 or 15. But I just think they have a few extra ways to score here, and against a team who's not going to overpower them in the middle. Arizona wants to overpower you in the middle, and they did against Purdue in the end. I'm not so sure with Mara in there. Yaxel, like all these big. I mean, you got two NBA bodies in there, one genuine NBA body who's 23, one dude who's 7'3". I'm not so sure Arizona are going to be able to just kind of bully enough twos in. So I think they're going to have to hit the threes to kind of keep up a little bit with Michigan here. But I think just because Michigan have a little extra way to score offensively, again, I think they kind of get over the line there. There's two teams who are super similar. It should be a super fun up and down game, but I just give the slight edge to a team that scores more organically from all over the court.
All right. Okay, cool. So you guys going head to head there. Anything just, I don't know, in general, like any other thoughts as far as March Madness while we're on it before we kind of shift gears here?
I'm pretty confident that if UConn win the Illinois game, that they lose by like 25 in the final. I think Illinois can hang with a Michigan and an Arizona because they're just so big. Like everybody on the team is so long. They got like 6'10", like on three spots, and Wagler's like plays point. He's 6'6" and going to the NBA. So I think they can hang, but UConn do not have the bodies to go up and down with any of these teams on the other side. I don't think.
I agree.
Nice. Maybe I'll share this screen here and pull up some go through NBA. NBA obviously has been kind of tough with a lot of these games not meaning anything to half the teams playing them. But let's take a look. And we don't have to go through anything. If there's any games you guys were particularly interested in, let me share my screen. All right. So games that actually are going to matter for some of these teams: Philadelphia 76ers, Miami. Miami's still in a playing spot right now, I believe. 76ers looked really good over the weekend with both Embiid and Tyrese Maxey back. Seems like they might be getting healthy at the right time here. I mean, I'll hop into it. I kind of like Philadelphia here, and this might be something that I take leverage on. Who is out for? I don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but for the Heat, important player. 1 second. Just hoping someone would help me there. Oh, Norman Powell. Kind of played really well this year. He's out. I think there's definitely a way Miami can win here. I think Tyler Hero is probably going to have to throw it up a bunch. Philadelphia plays a lot of drop, so he will have that opportunity. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked 76ers all year. I mean, they've looked good with Maxey and Embiid on the court. I just feel like this line's kind of wacky. I don't think Miami's terrible by any means, but they're just kind of okay, in my opinion. You guys like anything particular in this game? Or do you wholeheartedly disagree with me?
I'm not one to kind of bet the 76ers on the road, but I will say the Heat have been in a funky little slump, and it's because Hero and Powell just can't coexist on the court together. They're both the same player. They're both kind of inefficient volume shooters, and they're both pretty bad defensively. The Heat, in my numbers, jump upward when one of them or both of them are out. They grade as a little bit of a better team when both of them are not on the court at the same time. It's just one of those weird things where it particularly happens with volume guys who can't defend. It's like with Brunson and Cat. When it comes to playoff time, they just can't be on the court together. They just get picked on. It's pretty similar with Hero and Powell. So as bad as the Heat have been, they get a little bit of a bump because Powell missed the game today, which is weird, but
yeah, I can see that. And then really the only other game that, if you guys want to look somewhere else, let me know, that I have any interest in, this Boston and Atlanta game. Two teams that are still playing for seeding. Kaz, I know you're a Boston fan. I don't have a strong take here, but curious if you do.
I mean, Atlanta's playing pretty good at home. The Celtics are on the backside of a back-to-back. I think that's why you're seeing the lean go towards Atlanta. The Celtics just won at Charlotte last night, so Charlotte's been playing pretty good basketball lately. Yeah, they're 7-3 in their last 10, but the Hawks have also been playing pretty good. They're 8-2. Celtics are 7-3. I'm always going to pull for the Celtics, but on the backside of a back-to-back, you might see some guys sit out. This one might. There's a reason why Vegas has this favorite for Atlanta. I'm sure that they've composed the numbers to understand that the Celtics are probably going to sit out a couple key guys tonight, and it's going to cause an issue.
Yeah, Tatum's not projected to be in. I don't know how much past that they would sit, but obviously a big deal. Yeah, did you guys want to look at anything else with this slate? There's just really the lines are silly. The only thing close is this Dallas game, Minnesota, and Dallas isn't playing for anything. The more they lose here, the better it is for them. So I don't know. I just try to stay away from that unless I'm taking like the heavy favorite.
If you really like some of these heavy favorites to like come out and like the Lakers are going to be the 3 seed if they just match Denver throughout. Like if Luka were playing tonight and you were getting like an 18, if you really, really think the Lakers are like super invested, you can get like winning at the end of every quarter. Like they're 18-point favorites, or the Spurs are 18-point favorites, and you get minus 200 for them to be leading at the end of every quarter. Like if you think they come out and they're ready to go and these other teams are kind of just cruising their way in, that's a pretty good bet. And again, I would want like a Luka here against, the Wizards at home because they're kind of funky defensively, the Lakers and stuff. But if you get like a team that's like the Nuggets We're going up against the Wizards, and the Wizards are sitting everybody. And, Jokic is going to play the first 12 and something like that, and you're getting minus 200. They just got to win the first quarter, and most of the time they kind of just cruise. A lot of the time they're up like 15 at the end of the first quarter. You get some pretty good numbers for gigantic favorites, and you don't have to worry about if the dudes who come in off the bench with 5 minutes to go are going to keep the game on your number.
Yeah, so I know you weren't intending to do it, but that's kind of a perfect Levr plug. So really what you're what is the name of that bet? Wire to wire? Yeah, I think it's typically called wire to wire.
Yeah, depends on where you get it, but yeah, wire to wire or winning at the end of every quarter.
Yeah, so just looking at this Memphis game, this is kind of in my opinion, one of those games. Memphis is just, they're miserable. They cannot defend anything in the paint at all. Not that the Suns have been particularly great there with their center injuries, but this is a game that I could see going that way, where Phoenix doesn't have much of an issue throughout the game. So let's just make a scenario here. Typically betting this, you're not going to be getting nearly that type of payout if you're just taking this straight, but could be somewhere where leverage makes sense. If you were to 5x this, you're betting that pretty much as if it were a negative 150-ish line. But of course, there's risk with that. So you will get liquidated during the game if the Suns ever were negative 263 favorites. Obviously, it's quite a bit different here from the 9,574 opening line, but that's kind of the idea. Those are the games you want to take if you think a team's going to be kind of cruising the entire time. So you're not really that worried about that liquidation price. Obviously, there's more risk to it, but it also pays out a lot better. Ideally, with NBA, if you were pretty confident in Atlanta here with Boston sitting people, maybe this is the route you take, just because, your payout's going to be awesome, and that liquidation line, it's a lot further away from than if we were to 5x the Hawks here. So if they ever became 224 plus 224, then you liquidate on that 2x. If you were to boost it up to 5x, obviously huge payout, but you're closer to that liquidation line. So if Hawks came out slow, you might lose at the beginning of the game. Great example of this, of that happening. I have a bet open on KC right now in baseball. They're up 2-1, but the problem is they went down 1-0 to start, and I took a 5x on this, I was feeling it. So these are the live Kansas City odds throughout the game. These are the live who are they playing? My brain just Minnesota odds, this blue line or purple line. Here is where Minnesota scored. This is my liquidation line on those Kansas City odds. So I was out there. I lost it. Lost the bet, got liquidated, so I lose my $10 that I bet. This is when KC hit that home run to go up 2-1. It didn't matter. I was already out of the position. But that's when you can, lose rather quickly. That's why the 5x is risky. But if you think it's a game that a 2x here would have been perfectly fine, it would never come to close to getting knocked out there. But that's kind of don't bet. I don't know. Probably shouldn't be saying it, but don't bet leverage on everything. Only I would only recommend taking it when you feel like that team's just going to kind of roll. Baseball's a little funky. I wouldn't always take I don't love normally taking home teams because it's very turn based, so that away team has an opportunity to score first, and you could just get liquidated in the beginning of the game because of that. Whereas if you take the away team, you're always going to bat first, so you have that opportunity to get that quick lead and that odds buffer, I guess I would call it.
Little Levr alpha right there on that tip.
Yeah,
I kind of like the Timberwolves 3x tonight.
Yeah, that was the only other game that was really close, right?
And I wouldn't even call it close, but the Timberwolves are in. They're going to play everybody, and Dallas is out. So I don't know if you'll see a ton of effort out of Dallas. I just think that's a safer spot. 3x, $100 on 3x pays almost double your money back on the Timberwolves.
Yeah, almost
185
money on a negative 267 line.
Yeah, I mean that's great, and I think it's minus 112 is my liquidation point. So even if that game's close, I'm thinking I probably won't get liquidated unless it gets close late. So yeah, that's the line I like.
Seeing how I did this weekend. Houston hurt. All right. With that though, like maybe we can jump to baseball here some. So I mean, game started. I did really like Kansas City. The other spot I really liked tonight was Toronto.
I almost unmuted and was like, just say it. Just say it. You're going to say Toronto because they're playing the worst team in baseball. But didn't you go through a stretch last June where you kept picking against the Rockies and they kept winning?
Yeah, like the end of the season, they randomly just started winning games. Super aggravating. But yeah, I like Toronto. I mean, the odds obviously say that as well. There are a ton of games, though. There's definitely other spots to pick out. Toronto specifically, something else I did this weekend, finally got together my dashboard for baseball. Let's see if I can pull it up. Somebody, if there's another game you want to look at, start talking right now, so I got to find this.
I agree on Toronto. I think because we're so early, you get a little bit more variance and stuff, but that opened at like minus 200 for like first 5. That felt like almost an entire dollar short. Like Shugano is going to get torched by any team with like a remote sense of power. Good conditions for that. And that fell short.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's just probably a little closer just because of Toronto throwing out a rookie. I'm assuming this guy's a rookie. I don't have stats for him from last year. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, so this is something I put together, pulls in. These are just like numbers that I typically look at. I also like to home run hunt a lot. But I mean, if you're finding a gas can of a pitcher that's going to give up home runs, solid chance that team's in a good spot. This is, to be clear, is pulling all splits from last year. Just we don't have numbers yet. And to me, like this is what's important for me to look at: K percentages, walk percentages. Just give you a good idea. If bit of an erratic pitcher, he does not strike many people out. The average typically you're seeing here is like 20%, so it's pretty low. WOBA, for those who aren't aware, in my opinion, it's just like it's a more true reading of like what he's giving up for average. So rather than like a batter average, a batter WOBA. So these numbers are quite high. 350 is like really high. Ground ball per fly ball. This guy, he's pretty much an even like 50-50 split. I'm looking for guys who give up a lot of fly balls. So this isn't bad. It's not necessarily good. Then home runs per 9. Again, I tend to home run hunt a bunch. And then just like your medium, hard, and soft contact rates. This is total batter's face. So just to make sure we have a sample size out of it. But looking at this, like these are gross numbers. He's not giving up like any soft contact. Giving up a lot of hits, giving up a lot of home runs. And what I'll do with that is in this scenario, like specifically, like lefties just spank him. Pulls in the projected lineups for that day. These were projected. I did them earlier today. I could rerun it with the announced ones if they were here now. And then if I'm specifically looking for like home runs, I just dig into that batter splits against, in this case, a right-handed pitcher like Varsho. I put money on him to hit one tonight. I think he's in a really good spot. So pretty much the same splits that we were looking for pitcher, but reverse. So this is how he does against right-handed hitters. A lot of fly. He's a fly ball hitter, only 0.44 ground balls per fly ball. And when he does get the ball in the air, home runs per fly ball, 22% home run rate, big WOBA numbers, big slugging numbers. So I'm really just looking for pitchers in bad spots versus, pitchers in good spots. Park and weather stats, this matters. This game's indoors today, so there's no weather. I don't pull any weather data, but as far as this park, I think this is in a rolling 3 years right now. It just gives you some parks are much better for, right-handed hitters than they are left-handed hitters. So just another thing to add on top of that. Weather. So for example, Wrigley Field, I'm always preaching. You could just straight bet weather games at Wrigley and make money, I feel like. So with the weather that's today, you've got 15 mile per hour, consistent wind blowing out. Common weather games, out of this sample size, was 57 total games had very similar weather. You were almost seeing a 60% increase in home runs at Wrigley compared to their average. So that tells me this would be a good spot to look for home runs. Not a huge sample size on this guy, so in this case, I'd probably look at his minor league splits as well. But if this was a larger sample size, he just gets spanked against lefties, so I'd go in and look for Chicago lefties against a pitcher that I probably wouldn't pick a side on this because when games like this could go anywhere, but I'm really looking for just gas cans against not gas cans and then going from there. But Toronto would definitely be my favorite spot. I like this Mets St. Louis game for, a nerfy, maybe no run in the first inning or just a low score. Two good pitchers going at it, a lot of ground balls, so you're not looking at really many blow-up innings from then. Here's my TED Talk.
Any thoughts on the the Rays and the Brewers? The Brewers, I think, are starting a relief pitcher tonight.
Unless this guy, I don't know. I'd have to look at this Kyle Harrison guy. But according to this, he had innings last year, so I don't know if. Yeah, it looks like it is going to be a bullpen game. Unless he moved into a starting role. I don't know. Did you read up on that? It sounds like you did.
No, I just noticed that I didn't notice I didn't know who he was. So I looked him up and I was like, well, this guy's a relief pitcher. He's not even a starter unless they moved him up. But I don't know. I just think that's an interesting. Are they just going to pitch all bullpen tonight, or is he going to be the starter? Because I think last year he was. I don't think he was great as a bullpen guy.
These are his numbers from last year, but I don't know. I'd be interested, Kurt, how you think about this. I typically try not to involve myself with bullpen games. It just, I don't know. I don't feel like I have any edge there. I typically just want to, because for me, the only thing I feel like I have any chance of even coming close to predicting is a starter in those first 5 innings, what he's going to do. After that, once he gets to the bullpen, I don't know who's going to come in and pitch after that.
Yeah, it depends on the bullpen. If I know a team's got a good bullpen and they're going up against a starter I don't particularly like, I treat the bullpen as a middle of the road pitcher almost. It depends. Again, it depends on who's going to eat the majority of innings. Normally you get a guy in there that just eats, 3 to 4. Kyle Harrison in particular is someone who's started in the pen last year, and then his last 6 or 7 goes were starts.
That makes sense.
4-5, 4-5, 3-6, 3 innings. I imagine you'll get something in that range today. Also, you brought up Ponce. He didn't have any numbers on your thing. He was in the KBO last year, but his numbers last year in the KBO were probably one of the best 1-year samples you'll ever see out of that. His strikeout rate was like 36% and his walk rate was like 5%. Like he was genuinely like DeGrom over there for whatever reason. So if he's just like middle of the road for the day, minus 200 or whatever numbers you were getting for Toronto are probably short, but he was lights out over there last year. And obviously jumping from there over here isn't necessarily, a walk in the park or anything like that, but his numbers of all the top end pitchers to come out of there, that's what they're feeding.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's a reason he's here this year, right?
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. But I do like some of those numbers and stuff. Shigano is going to pitch a lot of games for Colorado. One, they paid him money, and two, they just need to get through the year. I don't know what those home run numbers are going to look like in his first start in Colorado, but I imagine after that, you were going to get some pretty outlandish, crazy numbers, like the Ohtani plus 110s kind of stuff when they go to Colorado against him. So I would look out for his next start because those numbers probably won't. You might get unlucky and you're getting plus 190s early, but like they're definitely not going to stay there the rest of the year. So I would look out for his first start in Coors.
Yeah, fuck Coors. Yeah, but I don't know. There weren't any other spots that really super jumped out to me. Baseball's tough in general in the beginning of the year. But yeah, all you can really lean on is last year's data. Looking at spring training is pretty useless, in my opinion.
I tend to do like a mix of last year's data and this year's projection data that comes, and you get like, you don't get perfect numbers, obviously, but like a lot of guys who overperformed last year and project a little bit worse this year, you can kind of feed toward their projection. And due to underperform last year and their projection might not be high enough, a lot of guys tend to come back even stronger after a year where they underperform and they're just regular metrics underperform, not like themselves underperform, but like my real ERA was a 4.5 and my expected FIP was a 3.5. Those guys tend to come back and have like over the top years and stuff like that. So a good mix I found is the best way. Well, it's been working for me at least, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's even like regular season stuff. You'll start to see guys that you think might be due for regression or the other way. Yeah, your A is just, there's some stats you just shouldn't be looking at, in my opinion. I agree with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's really tough to go against the Dodgers, but I don't hate. I would like to see this a little higher, but this guy going for the Dodgers struggled against lefties last year. This Cleveland lineup's like 8 lefties throughout. So if you're looking for a long,
he had a really bad spring training too.
Did he?
He started really bad last year, and like he had that gap off where he missed a couple months, and then he came back and looked like he was pitching like a couple innings here, a couple innings there, and it looked like he might be getting back because they pulled him out of Asia as well, and it took him a little bit, and I thought maybe it just took him a little bit to kind of get going, but he had a pretty horrific spring training as well, so he might just not get it just in the MLB in general. So if you like going against the Dodgers and stuff, or if you like going against him in particular, some alts maybe.
Yeah, I was just looking for maybe some more fun odds than constantly taking. I don't know. I feel like my go-to bet on Levr is just like a negative 200 at 2x.
I kind of like the Mariners tonight. They got Luis Castillo versus Ryan Weathers. He used to pitch for the Marlins, so you might know a little bit about him. But Castillo's got pretty good numbers against the Yankees.
Did Weathers? Is he ever out of the bullpen?
He had an odd year in Miami. I think it was Miami last year.
Yeah, I think he did like kind of both last year.
It's pretty easy to pitch well in Miami. So I imagine moving or being traded, it's probably not always the easiest for a pitcher, especially with a ballpark like New York.
It's in Seattle though. This one's like heavy pitcher friendly.
Yeah. I just mean like looking at his
Oh, in
numbers
general.
quickly, like they don't look great from last year.
I think fully healthy is the 5. I think.
I mean, left-handed batters get spanked. There's a fucking porch in right field at Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good on baseball. Unless you guys have anything, we can probably wrap this up. There's a ton here today. It's just again, I mean,
It's just early baseball.
Yeah, it's so early. There's so many games left. Though I definitely have my fair share of bets in. It's just a lot to go through. I find it much easier 3 months from now when every starter has like a handful of starts and you have, relevant recent data. It just feels a lot easier.
How many home runs get hit tonight in Chicago?
I mean, so
is it still kind of cold there?
It's
like the wind, I think, is crazy.
Yeah, the wind's like 15 miles per hour sustained with like 25 mile per hour gusts, I think. Why can't I find it? I mean, yeah, I got to look to see this Ryan Johnson guy because he didn't have much for innings last year. Yeah, he came up. He was out of the bullpen last year.
Fun Wrigley games. I had some Cubs over 15.5 total bases yesterday, and they hit 3 home runs and didn't have any other hits. Completely screwed my fucking day.
It's so like they know. I feel like they've gone out and they've just, in my opinion, looked at the lineup. And last year I would hammer home runs there. Got days like this. Like everyone in their lineup is a fly ball hitter for the most part.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they know. Like I do not think PCA is. Last year people were all over him the middle of the summer when it's 85 in Wrigley and the winds were blowing 20 miles per hour and he's getting a home run every day. It's like, yeah, but he's just, I don't know. He's just flying out in most stadiums.
Yes. He's someone who I think takes a pretty genuine step back this year.
Aggressive splits between home and away. I was looking at that earlier. Bregman's started hot. I know we're 3 games in. I think Bush is really due, but that's probably why his line is the worst to hit one here today. It's like plus 235, I think. But yeah, if I'm taking 3 guys, it's Bush, Hap, PCA. And then if I'm taking a righty, probably Alex Bregman.
I have some stats on Ryan Johnson last year. He only pitched in 14 games. His walks, hits, innings pitched was almost 2. He has 7.36 ERA. He gave up 12 earned runs in 14 innings pitched. Not great. This is interesting that they have him going here. Gave up 4 home runs he faced 72 batters, gave up 4 home runs. Only 1 double, though. This is 24 hits. He doesn't have he had 5 walks, 16 Ks. He's just like very mid.
He was drafted 2024, though. Like, if you're going to rush somebody through that fast, he's got to have good stuff Kinda, though, right?
It looks like he got pelted last year. I mean, he only pitched in 14 games.
All right. So looking at his minor league stats last year, he got spanked by lefties, and that's what the numbers said in the MLB too. So, yeah, I'm probably doing a little lefty stack.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a spot where
I
could
like
get
the Cubs too, probably, but again, it's a win game, so this could be who knows. Could be runs everywhere.
Yeah, this one could be an over.
Toronto, I'm locking in. That's the only baseball I'm touching today.
I bet a little bit of Reds first five because I think Burns is like a genuine ace dude, and he's kind of being priced as like a 2 early because he's probably got a thing or two to figure out, or just his numbers last year kind of dipped in the middle. But I think he's a genuine like 8-9 strikeout an outing dude who's not going to give up a ton against a pretty crappy lineup.
Was he in Cincy last year, or was that?
Yeah, he was the dude who like popped, and it was like, why is his K's at 5? And then he had like 9 in his start, and then we never got a good K's prop again from him. But I think he's going to be genuine good. So
yeah, I mean, his splits he's definitely one of those pitchers that go right at you. You can kind of see that with the home runs given up to the left side of play. Also, a very small ballpark. So you make hard contacts, it might be gone. But I don't know. I feel like you notice that a lot with the high K percent pitchers. Like, they're not afraid to go after you, and that results in hits sometimes. But yeah, I mean, 35% K rate, that's insane over a year.
yeah, I remember the K thing, and he like popped, and it was like, here we go. This is really, really low. And then he threw like 10 in his first start. He had 7 through like 3, I'm pretty sure. And then we didn't even get like the middle ground where it goes up 1 or 2, and you're like, this is probably still not high enough. It just immediately jumped to 8.5 and was screwed.
This guy sucks. 32% K rate against righties. Going against a pitcher with a 35% K rate against lefties.
You bet specific guys to get strikeouts?
Sometimes.
I mean, I do first appearance stuff, or first like plate appearance.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If I do, a lot of time it's first plate appearance, strikeout.
Who is it?
Jack Suwinski. He's like, it's who I'm thinking of. He's super like light hitting. Out. He's not the catcher. He's an outfielder. There is a Suwinski catcher, I believe, too.
You have to get it live, I guess, but I wish that particular prop was a little bit more common.
At bats, first at bat. Yeah, I feel
no,
like
just like this player to have a strikeout or whatever.
Well,
like just
you've got better options than I do, because I am stuck with Hard Rock right now in Florida, and it is miserable.
Yeah, I was down there a couple weeks ago and just had Hard Rock, and I only like arbed out some of my stuff, but just like scrolling through, it's pretty brutal.
I'm limited right now. I haven't even been here a week, and they limited my bet size. Aggravating.
Were you guys just discussing Horwitz? Is that
No.
what you're talking? No. Oh.
Although, I mean, let me make sure he's starting, because again, these were.
Because Horwitz has faced Burns 3 times, and he's struck out twice.
Yeah,
that's not a big enough sample size.
I need a little more numbers.
I read a really good article the other day about why pitcher versus batter stuff is nothing. and just
I think I read the same. Well, I think I read the
right?
same headline for the article, and I thought,
Yeah.
why did anyone take time writing this article?
Oh,
Everyone should know this already. What are we doing?
you'd be pretty surprised, I think, about people's routes to getting bets and stuff.
I'll use it if it's like a decent sample size and it's like the last, like tilting me
Thing
in
you're
one
looking at.
direction. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
that.
Anything that does not have, just in general, for anybody who is doing this, anything that does not have like a genuine sample size, like anytime you go back and it's like Lakers are playing the Nuggets last 3 games, sample size isn't big enough. Like baseball, like 20 at bats against a pitcher from one batter, not big enough. Like chances are, if you're looking back at head-to-head stuff, your sample size is straight up not big enough, and you're probably like 50 games short of it being big enough to even look at.
What's Horace's? What are his splits? Do you have that in front of you, Cass? Because I didn't have him in. That other guy's not even starting. I needed to rerun this once we had the new lineups out. I think we lost Cass.
No, you didn't lose me. I'm just trying to get there. Give me 1 second here. Oh, the splits. He is horrendous. Nah, he didn't face that many lefties last year. Bet 186. Bet 283 against righties, though. And a good sample size, 321 at bats. Let's see. Nothing too crazy.
Well, what is he against righties? You said, sorry. Okay, right.
He batted 283 out of 321 at bats. That's a decent sample size last year.
How many at bats did De La Cruz get last year? This is pulling weird projected. It did not use the site it was supposed to for the projected lineups. I feel like it pulled some of the end of the year lineups from last year.
Yeah, he hit 285, 283, so back-to-back years against righties.
I like Burns, but I could also see him giving up a solo shot or 2. And I can also see him getting 7 strikeouts in the same game. I hate that. I mean, unless I'm targeting hitters there, that park is just gross for me. Great ballpark to go to a game to if you haven't been. Do not eat the what is that gross food they have there? Skyline chili. Oh God.
Which park are you talking about?
Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
Skyline chili, just the grossest chili I've ever had on spaghetti.
I feel like you're going to be getting anthrax or something in the mail after making that comment.
You ate that at the game? Like a chili on spaghetti? You ate that at the game?
Yeah, I've had it twice in my life. I used to date a girl from right outside of Cincinnati. We went to spring training in Arizona because that's where they had their spring training. I don't know if they still did, but they did. They used to. They had it at the spring training facility. It was gross. Got it inside, like, you know how they do the ice cream and like the little plastic like batter helmets.
Mm-hmm.
Got it inside that, and then I had it at the game once again when I went there because she managed to convince me like, oh no, it must have just been bad because it was in Arizona and they were making it there. No, it's probably worse. It was so bad.
Terrible. You gotta try some weird stuff. There's this chick I follow on Twitter. I think she lives in Chicago, and she goes to Wrigley all the time, and they have a bunch of like different random ass shit. But like If you give her a follow, she has like a new random ass fucking thing there every single time. And I just I follow to see some of the shit she pops out with. It's always ridiculous shit. She had a hot dog recently that was like, it was a hot dog and then whatever topping it had fucking like fruity pebbles on it and shit. Everything is just so funky all the time. Like there's not like a regular ass meal in that stadium.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, I love going to a new ballpark and trying some weird shit they have there. But yeah, just don't try the Skyline chili. I'm trying to refresh this with the right lineup, just because I'm tempted to take a strikeout prop here. It's just taking forever. All right. I'm good unless you guys have anything else. If not, I am going to run through. All right. So the March Madness leaderboard on Levr, it goes until the last game. So you've got 3 more games left you can bet on. I do want to point out, you have to make a minimum of 5 bets in order to qualify for the prize pool. And the prize pool's right here. There are, like, it's not too late to do this. It's very top heavy. Let's say that. So as far as P&L, it's based off of P&L. And then this is like currently what these guys are winning once we distribute the March Madness stuff. Once you get to like the 10th user here, we're already in negative P&L. So you can come in and make 5 bets. There is a minimum of $10 a bet on the site throughout. I'm not sure if we're going to adjust that or not, but there is. So like, but don't feel like you have to be, make a bunch of bets, beat this guy out on first. Like, there's potential to come in late and you can still, oh, that's a nice name. You can still win some money. I'm probably in like last place. No, I'm down here 28th. But yeah, I'm negative P&L. So that's ongoing. We're giving out, I think it's $5,000 total with that. The other promo that we have right now is for new users that sign up, and this will be getting updated soon, but for now it's 25% back on your first bet if it loses, with a max of $100 credit on that. So if you were to bet $40 you lost, you get a $10 bet back. And that's not site credit. Like, you can just withdraw it afterwards if you don't want to bet with it. You don't have to play through it like you would have to. A lot of the books will give you credit to play through. It's just cash. Something I can get into, we're going to be doing this in a couple days. Anyone that's watching or listens to this afterwards, we have a regular leaderboard, and we are going to start paying out Mon rewards, which Mon had is just a token, you sell it, to the top 10 in P&L for the month, and also the top 10 in P&L for volume. So that gives you the opportunity to win 2 different ways. You'll get cash at the end of the month. Again, it's not like a playthrough. You can just withdraw it and put it in your pocket. So we'll be doing that. And I don't know 100% what that full amount is going to be every month, but we will actually send out rewards for this for March. I know we didn't announce it. It's just going to be something we do. We will send out rewards for March based off of March's leaderboard. And then going forward, we'll be doing that every month, and fresh leaderboard every month. So just the last month as far as rewards are concerned. Yeah, and I think that's it, Kaz, unless you had anything that I'm missing. But yeah, you guys will see that going out either tomorrow night or on the 1st. And we'll post about that more officially once that happens.
No, I don't have anything to add. I mean, you got a couple games on Saturday, another game next Monday. So there's 3 bets right there if you just put 1 bet on each. And then if you do 2x, 3x, or whatever you want to do, you can easily get to the 5 bets by the end of this. So it's definitely plenty of time to get back into this. And like you said, you make the right pick in one game on maybe a 2x and a 3x, and you come up with positive EV, you might find yourself making a lot of money for not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, for doing like $50 worth of volume. And to note, like you could even make the same bet 5 times. But yeah, that's for you guys. That's for you to figure out. All right, cool. We will be back on Wednesday, probably just going through the NBA and the MLB slate that day, unless we have another sport launch by then, which we might have. Can't say that with 100% certainty yet. As always, Kurt with Volume Bets, thank you for having me, or thank you for joining. And give him a follow. It's at Volume Bets on X. What do you want to give the Instagram handle stuff?
Yeah, it's volume.bets on
I think
Instagram.
I know that after doing this so many times.
It's okay. It's an annoying distinction.
He's been turning $1 into the plan is $1 million. I believe you are 2 years into it, and you are at what handle currently?
We are at $1,532 and some cents.
That's awesome. Up from $1. And then, yeah, I'm with Levr. Kaz is with Levr. I'm sure you've seen us in the Discord and elsewhere, but appreciate you guys listening. We will talk to you again on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Appreciate it.